All right, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for being a little bit later than normal. I just had to take care of the boys, and I was also doing a little room maintenance as well, because I got to keep my space clean. One must be clean in all aspects, not just in body, but in living space as well. So, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to me reading Fire Force again. Today, we are going to be reading Volume 7, God of the Forge. So let's go ahead and see how many chapters we got ourselves into, and how many of them I am going to forget the number of. Wow, alcohol is good for getting out smudge marks. Because some of my Fire Force volumes are kind of like, seem like they've been handled a little bit, but a little bit of alcohol on them gets rid of some of those more in-depth, like, smudge marks, which pleases me because I like to have clean books. But let's see how many chapters we got, and how many of them I'm probably going to forget the number of once we get into it. Summary! Shinra and Arthur engaged in battle with the white-clad warriors who plunged Asakusa into chaos. One of them ignited himself and became a demon infernal, just like the one Shinra saw at the fire that took his family. The demon displayed overwhelming strength, but with Shinra's support and an attack that used all his power, Company 7's captain Benimaru defeated him. Companies 7 and 8 overcame their differences, and now Company 8 has a strong new ally to aid in their investigation. So, the chapters we have is 52? Yeah, I'm seeing 52. 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Okay, so 52 all the way through 60. I'm telling y'all, I really do need to get these Roman numerals memorized. But let's start with the first one. And we're in the last chapter we had, we got introduced to Victor Licht, the new scientist that's joining Company 8. So let's begin. We're in the lab of Victor Licht. And in this room also is Joker. I heard you weaseled your way into Company 8. How in the world did you swing that? Imperial decree. All companies have been ordered to step up their scientific investigations. Good timing for me. You, a member of the Special Fire Force. There's nothing unusual about that. We're all fighting for justice, aren't we? Chapter 52, A World Aflame. And we cut back to the present, because this was a flashback. We cut back to the present, where Captain Obi is looking weirdly at Victor. I am Special Fire Force Company 8's new scientist. The name's Victor Licht. And Hibana is already suspicious. I smell a rat. And then Hinawa. The official Fire Force salute is performed with the right hand. Oh dear, I'm so sorry, Lieutenant Hinawa. You'll have to excuse me, I'm only a scientist. And then it cuts to Shinra again. Is something wrong? Oh, you must be Fire Soldier Shinra, the one with the Adola burst. Huh? Well, let me see here. Well. As Victor drops down and starts looking over Shinra's feet. Ah, creepy! Don't get so handsy with Shinra, as Hibana puts herself in between them. Adola burst. Adola link. What exactly is an Adola burst? His Imperial Majesty told me it's a pure, undefiled flame. He said it was the Genesis flame, the spark that the Sun God used to make the planet. But I don't understand. It's all so vague. And then Captain Hibana. I wouldn't say this planet so much as this country. It's more accurate to say the Genesis flame created this empire. Do you know the name of the entity that started the solar era? It's Amaterasu, isn't it? And of course, you know the current state of the world. Our planet is falling apart. Some places have erupted into flame, and in others, we can only assume that there were distortions in space that tore the continents apart. And we see a map of the world, but it's like pieces of the world are missing, and the gaps are filled in for kind of disjointed parts, looking like they don't belong in certain sections. And in others, we can only assume that there were distortions in space that tore the continents apart. Countless nations that exist in the past are now destroyed, and there are only a few places outside the Empire where people have any decent quality of life. People flock to this relatively unharmed region, and the Empire and Hajime Industries designed to build Amaterasu, the perpetual thermal energy plant. Through the grace of Amaterasu and the massive amounts of energy it produces, the Empire developed even further. That's also when it became common practice to reverse the order of our names, out of consideration for the rights of immigrants. Meanwhile, so-called proto-nationalist groups appeared, clinging to the land's old customs. They rely on Amaterasu as little as possible, and persist in using the old naming order. The Adola Burst, the source of Amaterasu's power, is the Genesis Flame, the sacred flame that created this planet. But if you study the world and its history, you'll find that this flame is also what led to the world's collapse to begin with. Ergo, we scientists have another name for it, the Flame of Perdition. And then Shinra remembers back to when Archer said, "Your flames are meant to destroy souls."
Is that why that punk said that to me?
Still, there are many aspects of the Adola Burst that we have yet to explain. If it can be either a destroying flame that threatens mankind, or a sacred flame that saves souls, then I just have to be Oh wait, this is Shinra thinking this to himself.
If it can be either a destroying flame that threatens mankind, or a sacred flame that saves souls, then I just have to be a sacred flame. And could you tell me what an Adola Link is?
Adola Link? Never heard of it.
I've never heard of it either,
goes Hibana.
Oh, thank you for your help.
Please tell me if you
learn anything.
And Victor already clearly knows about Adola Links. Shinra Kusakabe, you've already discovered the Adola Link. And then we cut back to Obi, and he's looking at a form. Litkun, was it? Is this your resume? Yes, sir, it is. I skipped some grades to attend Tokyo Imperial University and graduated at the top of my class. After which point I became head of research at Hajime Industries' Applied Combustion Science Lab. I'm a genius, sir, I'm sorry.
So, what's a genius like you doing in a rundown company like 8?
I was always holed up alone in my lab at Hajime anyway, so I thought I'd like to join an organization that was closer to the action. Just some first-hand information. If there's a problem, we can just skip it for now. Please, let me join you. And Obi's looking kinda suspicious. From what I've seen, you're not only missing a science team, you don't even have an engineer. Who's servicing your matchbox? If you don't take proper care of it now, you'll come to regret it later. I have someone in mind. Lieutenant, have you contacted him? Vulcan? No.
Vulcan? You want to make him your engineer?
And this is Hibana.
Who's Vulcan? Hajime and the Special Fire Force have both tried, but every scout that's knocked on his door has had it slammed in their face. He has remarkable skill that does justice to the name of the god of fire in the forge.
And we see this image of this dude in shadow, but he's surrounded by metal and different types of metallic objects. Maybe it's about time we paid his workshop a visit. I said workshop, as if I was speaking in a German accent. Maybe it's about time we paid his workshop a visit. Maybe it's about time we paid his workshop a visit.
I wouldn't recommend it. He loathes Hajime, and since they have their claws in the Fire Force, he hates them too. He'll just send you packing.
Still, if we can't get a hold of him, then our only option is to see him in person. I heard he's about the same age as our younger soldiers. Shinra, would you take Arthur and Sister Iris and head for Vulcan's workshop?
Huh? Are you sure it should be only 3 of us? Only be us 3?
I don't want this to be too formal, so you better go in your civvies. But it's okay to be open about who you are. Be careful not to do anything that could come off as deceptive. Considering who we're talking about, if you manage to say hello, I'll think of it as a job well done.
I follow you, big cheese.
And then Iris is, kind of confused.
What does that mean? The guys in Company 7 talk like that. It sounds kind of fun.
And then we get to Hibana.
You're wasting your time. Vulcan's hatred of Fire Force is certifiable.
We're trying to change the country. There's nothing to do, there's nothing to it but to do it. I love Obi. And then we have Victor, steadily watching on, just being the little weirdo scientist that he is. While others try to win him with money and status, he tries to convince them using children. Company 8 does move in the most interesting ways. And then we have Obi talking to Victor. Well then, I guess it's time I showed you to your room. Do you have any luggage? If you haven't packed yet, I can arrange to have your things delivered. We made all the arrangements on our end. Hajima will be sending me all the equipment I need shortly. We'll see if Company 8 will be useful to Joker and myself in achieving our goal. Then we cut to Shinra, Iris, and Arthur walking to what looks to be like a overgrown junkyard.
I've never seen you in regular clothes, Sister Iris.
Oh, well, I wear them sometimes, if I go out shopping or something in my habit. It seems like people are walking on eggshells around me.
So this Vulcan, or whatever his name is, lives in a junk heap?
I've never been to a place like this before. Have you, Arthur?
This dumb sap wouldn't remember if he had.
Shut up, you ugly mug.
Is that more Asakusa slang? You must really like them.
They pack quite a punch. They pack a lot of punch.
And then we get to this really big building that looks like it's straight out of Borderlands 3. Specifically, what is it? I forget the name. Not the Destroyer, but it's the big rolling pain and terror mobile, the one with the big giant skull in front. It's been a while since I played Borderlands 3 and went to that location. Not the Atomizer 9, Antagonizer, the Antagonizer, the big giant rolling thing. This whole building looks like that because there's all sorts of things sticking out of it. A giant elephant head, a whale's tail, some bull horns at the front. There's a lot of animal motifs everywhere.
Oh, I've seen that animal with the long nose in an encyclopedia.
Yeah, what was it again? An elephant?
This place really is something.
Excuse us!
And no one answers.
Maybe he's not home.
Or he's pretending not to be.
And then Arthur speaks up. I'm Fire Soldier 2nd Class Arthur Boyle, the Night King! And fire immediately blows out of the face of the bull skull that's at the front of the door. Would you spite the Night King?
He was reacting to the Fire Soldier part.
And then something goes flying out of the front door and hits Shinra straight in the head. Get out! Yeah, and hits him right in the head.
No!
Slow-witted devil. And Arthur immediately gets hit by this can too. Whoever's throwing these cans has phenomenal aim.
What?
And this person is about to throw it, but immediately stops as soon as it's Iris.
Hey, jerkface! Quit messing around and show yourself!
Projectile weapons don't work on knights!
Can I help you?
Ah!
And hey, it's the same kid that Shinra saved again from Seto, Infernal Seto. Setsuo from Infernal Setsuo.
Wait, you're...
Huh? Who are you again?
Yeah, that figures.
And that's the end of Chapter 52. Onwards to Chapter 53. God of the Forge.
Who are you again?
You saved me from a homicidal maniac Infernal?
Oh, you're the kid that was there when we were fighting with Company 5.
If you fire soldiers are hanging around a place like this, you must be here to scout my master. Master! I got the parts you asked me to find!
And then the door opens. And Iris whimpers, and both Arthur and Shinra start to wince, and they got their hands up like they're trying to defend themselves. You! I thought I told you not to call me master. It's either Vulcan or Turd Face.
Okay, Vulcan. All the parts are in my pack.
And then Vulcan picks it up. And because Vulcan walks out the door, and this dude has like a giant skull on his face, but he's got tattoos over his body as well. And he's completely shirtless.
Hold it, turd face!
And both Arthur and Shinra get hit in the head with cans. And he's not the one throwing them. Okay, who is that? Okay, so I guess Vulcan wasn't the one throwing these cans, because someone else's arm is inside the building. I forgot that. I forgot. There's so many things I forgot about it from watching the anime. What? There's someone else inside! And then Vulcan takes off the skull and we see his face. I don't help fire soldiers. Go away! And then the door slams on him.
That hatred of fire soldiers is very deeply rooted, isn't it?
If he's gonna fight us before we can get a word out, then this is pointless! Let's go home!
No, wait, please! If it's okay, I could hear you out. I do owe you for saving me.
You don't owe me anything. I did what any hero would do.
Oh, don't say that. We did come all the way out here.
And we go to another location. Outside, like near the perimeter of the building. His work sounds rhythmical.
This place is amazing. Did Vulcan make all the stuff around here?
Most of it, but some of it was made by his father and grandfather.
You, was it? You gave him a big bag of stuff earlier. Is he forcing you to run errands for him?
Forcing me? Don't be silly. I'm like a self-proclaimed apprentice. I've always liked tinkering with machines. And then I fell in love with Vulcan's work, so I got him to let me help him out. But I am kind of working as a lackey lately.
Lately? It was different before?
Well, Vulcan has real talent. Safety, precision, speed, creativity. He has everything a technician could ask for. Although his taste for skulls is a bit of a problem. He gets visits from all kinds of organizations, like Hajima and the Fire Force, but he throws all the scouts out on their ears. Hajima wasn't too happy about it, so they pulled some strings, and now Vulcan can't get materials from any of the merchants. Which is why now I go around to all the junk shops buying stuff for him.
No wonder he hates Hajima, and this is Arthur who says it.
No, I think there's some other reason Vulcan hates Hajima and the Fire Force.
Company 8 isn't like the rest of the Fire Force. I personally guaranteed it.
Okay, that was weird. It cut it off. Okay. I got to go through that line again because it got cut off for some reason.
Company 8 isn't like the rest of the Fire Force. I personally guarantee it. Could you get him to at least hear us out?
Vulcan can be pretty stubborn. I can ask him for something 1,000,000 times and he'll never say yes. So in that case...
And then you just lets everyone in.
All right, everyone, come on in.
Are you sure we can just come in here? It's his workshop.
I owe you my life, Shinra-san. The least I can do is endure a little shouting from Vulcan.
And then we see the another arm preparing to throw a can.
Ah! Wait, that was a machine?
It was a machine the whole time. How did I forget that? It was a machine. It was a machine that was throwing the cans.
This guy, wait, it was a machine? This guy makes the weirdest things.
As another can. Then another can goes flying in and hits Shinra in the side of the head from outside of his view.
That hurt! You throwing knucklers! There's another machine!
And it turns out this is actually an actual person.
Who are you people?
And it's a woman.
Whoa, is this a machine too? Hot darn, he can make stuff like this? This lucky son of a...
And it shows Shinra, poking her chest, thinking that she's just a machine. And she quickly embeds the can into his cranium.
I'm human! What? I am so sorry!
And, this woman is still mad.
This is Lisa-san. She lives with Vulcan. Hey, you didn't tell me we had guests. They saved my life.
Special Fire Force Company 8 Fire Soldier 2nd Class Shinra Kusakabe.
Special Fire Force Company 8. You know better than to let fire soldiers in here, but they saved my life!
And then something, I guess, explodes in the distance. No, it's someone is someone is beating on something. Look at how fast he puts that stuff together. Can he really make anything like that?
Can he really make anything like that? It looks like he's beating a drum.
And it's Vulcan and he's building something, but it does look like he's just drumming on it. And then he spins one of his wrenches around, and then he slams on it, and then he kicks whatever he built outside, much to the shock of Shinra and Arthur. Yes, it's finished.
Why would you kick something you made yourself? You're gonna break it.
A machine that breaks from a little kick is pretty much a defect. And what makes you think you can be here anyway?
Now.
Hey, you! What are you doing? We have guests! Get the tea!
Yes, sir! Thanks.
As if! As Vulcan takes a can and tries to throw it at Shinra, but Shinra actually avoids this one this time.
You could at least listen to what we have to say.
I've heard all of your Fire Force crap. Nothing you say is gonna change my mind now. And then, Vulcan throws another can, but Arthur has grabbed a pipe and has knocked this can, tried to hit the can, but it explodes in his face.
Idiot.
So the fire soldier's been put out, huh? And then there's a beeping sound that goes off through the entire building. And then we have Lisa going to the blinders of the door, and she goes,
Vulk, it's him again.
and then Vulcan puts a shirt on, and he goes, okay,
Can you handle it all by yourself?
I'll be fine. And then Vulcan goes outside.
What? It's who again?
And this is Shinra, and he looks outside, and he goes,
That's...
and we get face to face with Company 3's captain, Dr. Giovanni. And that's the end of Chapter 53. Onwards to Chapter 54, The Man Pulling the Strings. And Dr. Giovanni is outside of Vulcan's place, just standing there in his own civvies. That guy with the eye-catching hat is captain of Company 3?
Most people would notice the mask first.
Either one. So what is he doing? I thought Vulcan didn't talk to fire soldiers.
And Company 3 works directly with Hajima. They're gonna get Vulcan before us!
And then we have you going, but Vulcan will never accomplish his dreams if he joins Company 3 or Hajima. And then we get Dr. Giovanni speaking. So, how is business these days? As a robo dog, as we get like a view of all the junk that's around Vulcan's place, then we get like a little robo dash hound that goes up to Dr. Giovanni. If I recall, isn't this the first robot you ever made? Yes, you've loved animals since you were a little boy. That was a dirty trick you pulled. I know it was you who cut me off from my suppliers. Have you learned that building things takes more than blueprints? Now stop being stubborn and come to Company 3. We have all the materials you'll ever need. I wouldn't so much as change a miniature light bulb for you people.
I can't really hear them, but it sounds like the scouting isn't going so well.
Because Shinra, Iris, and Arthur are all peeping in on this conversation. Heh, goes Arthur. We're washed up, Big S. What do we do?
Huh? You're all wet, Try a Big A.
Asakusa speak again. I wish I could have gone.
I'm terribly sorry, Big Eye-san.
This is your final warning. I can't be held responsible for what might happen if you ignore it. Are you gonna kill me like you did my old man and my old man and his old man? What are you talking about? The day you left the workshop, Dad and Grandpa went infernal. Both at the same time. You know that's not normal! You're a traitor! And then Giovanni tips over the dash hound and just keeps it from being, it knocks it off of its leggings. Knocks it on its side so it can't stand up. What a shame. You have so much talent. If you stay in this scrap heap, that too will be lost. As Giovanni walks away. You're still making all of this useless junk. Does that mean you're still babbling about the world's animals? Shut up! What a worthless dream. You left to get money and power. You have no right to laugh at anybody's dream. If you would only dedicate your skills and talent to the Empire, do you have any idea how many people you could save? Your dream is so far strange from reality, there's nothing to laugh at. And then Giovanni leaves, kind of insulting Vulcan as he goes. Then the door slams, and then it's Vulcan again. You turd soldiers are still here?
Was that a good idea? Haijima's really gonna put the screws on now.
That's not your problem.
It is our problem. Company 8 was formed to investigate the Fire Force from the inside. We're not tied to an organization like the others. We really just want to help people. And Vulcan, that includes you too. And Vulcan, that includes you.
And Vulcan just looks, and then we get like this weird squirrel creature that flies through the air with screws in its nose. It looks very, very cartoony.
Whoa!
Where did that come from? Sorry, I touched it somewhere weird and it went all weird.
Well, don't touch it somewhere weird. We're having a serious discussion here.
And then it cuts to Sister Iris, who's like looking at a button going,
What's this?
No, whatever you do, don't push that! And then she pushes the button. She's literally having a DD moment.
Ooh!
Why? As the heads of more animals that are throughout the office all fly off their soldiers. That was the head-popping button for my forest creatures.
Why? Why would you even have that button?
To remind myself that a machine will never be more than a machine. And then Lisa just smiles in the background. This isn't stopping.
Just hold on to it.
Because this squirrel machine that Arthur's holding on to is still letting out this liquid, and it's not stopping. Then we have Iris again.
What's this?
No, don't push that either! And Iris just pushes the button. And then the head of the elephant from outside the shop goes flying off, because apparently Vulcan built it with rocket boosters inside. It just goes flying off. My elephant! Please, sister, why would you just cut it out?
What's this?
And then Iris is holding like this big spherical object, and Vulcan immediately takes it from her. Not this!
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then Iris kind of laughs a little bit. No, Vulcan laughs and he goes, What is wrong with you guys? You're crazy. Are you really fire soldiers? Okay, fine. You want to know about my machines that bad, huh? Just remember, nothing you do will convince me to join the Fire Force. But you guys can't go home empty-handed, right? I'm gonna show you something that'll make your trip worth your while, so after that, leave me alone, okay? And then both Shinra and Arthur are looking.
Worth our while,
goes Shinra.
Yay! I haven't seen it in forever!
This spot's a little too cramped for this. We're gonna want some more open space.
Huh? For that little ball?
Hey, should I take this with me?
Leave it here.
As Arthur is still holding on to the squirrel creature that's just, letting out all that liquid. Then we get to a clearing. As Vulcan is setting up this little sphere. That should do it. What in blazes is that thing? Another one of your creations? I made it with my dad and grandpa when I was a kid. Anyway, just watch. As it starts to open up and it lets out all of this, I guess, steam.
What's that smoke? Is it steam?
It's true I hate Hajima and their fire soldier friends, but that doesn't mean I'll settle for making any ordinary machines. And as this is going, a flash pops up, like a short nozzle pops up and it starts flashing. And then, all of a sudden, Iris, Shinra, and Arthur are suddenly in the ocean as a big whale is behind them. You see stingrays, you see dolphins, you see tuna fish, you see all sorts of different wildlife in the ocean around them. Did you know? Once upon a time, there were more than 1,750,000 different species on this planet. Whoa, goes Arthur.
Is this an elephant?
And then Shinra suddenly sees geese flying through the air.
What are...
Migrating birds. They used to fly all over from continent to continent, but now they have nowhere to migrate to.
And then tears start to swell up in Iris's eyes.
I don't know why, but I just can't hold back the tears.
Amaterasu can only generate enough power for the humans of the Empire. That's why I'm going to create an energy source greater than Amaterasu. One that can bring the whole world back to life. I'm going to bring the extinct animals back to our world. That's my dream!
And as we see pictures of like vultures and lions behind Vulcan, we see impalas and ibexes and all sorts of different creatures behind Shinra.
Captain Obi, Vulcan is perfect for Company 8.
And that was the end of chapter 54. Onwards to chapter 55, The Blacksmith's Dream. And we're back at Company 8 with Captain Obi. The guy you're about to go see, Vulcan, is someone I have my eye on for Company 8's engineer. The guy you're... I gotta read that again because it was too slow. The guy you're about to go see, Vulcan, is someone I have my eye on for Company 8's engineer. Would you go find out for me if he's Company 8 material?
That's an important call to make. Are you sure you want to leave it to us, sir?
And mind you, this is before Shinra and company left to go see Vulcan in the first place, because we got a bit of a flashback here. You kids are about Vulcan's age. Don't overthink it. Just go with your gut.
Yes, sir!
And then we're back in the present, as the smoke dissipates, and so does the image of all the extinct animals.
He wants to bring back all of the world's extinct animals. This is someone who's capable of using technology for lives other than his own.
I love it every time I see it. What did you all think?
I was so moved.
Awesome, goes Iris and Arthur respectively.
Come on, Vulcan, you will love Company 8. Would you please meet our captain just once?
No, nothing you say will ever convince me to hook up with anyone under Hajima's wing. I'm gonna do my own thing. But if you don't do something, Hajima's going to run you out of business. They started blacklisting us with the junkyards, too. Times may be tough, but we still have food on the table. I have work to do. I'm going back to the workshop.
And Vulcan just starts to leave everybody. And then we cut to Lisa, who's feeding some cats.
It's getting harder to ignore how much we spend feeding these strays. There are birds to feed, too. I'm not much different from these cats myself. How long have you been with Vulcan? I lost both my parents in an infernal fire. I went to live with relatives, but they died too. So I was going to be put in a convent. But the last thing I want to be is a nun. No offense, I forgot you were a nun. Oh, none taken,
as Lisa says to Iris.
I had lost everything, even the roof over my head. One day, Vulcan found me sleeping in the scrap heap, and he took me in. He's very kind, isn't he? Yeah, he is. Almost too kind.
And then we have you.
Vulcan thinks he can take in as many animals or people as need 'em. Or people as need 'em.
Or people as need 'em. I've never seen that in a sentence like that before.
Vulcan thinks he can take in as many people or many animals or people as need 'em, and he can just work that much harder to take care of them. You said this grave was for Vulcan's family?
As Arthur gives the, signature prayer gesture towards the grave of both Vulcan's father and his grandfather.
He told me that his father and grandfather both went infernal at the same time. Does that happen often? Vulcan thinks Giovanni had something to do with it.
Why does he suspect Giovanni? Could it have been bugs?
Shinra thinks to himself. And then we have a torn photo of Vulcan's dad and his grandfather, plus another face that's been torn off.
Vulcan's grandfather had 2 apprentices. One was Vulcan's father, and the other was Dr. Giovanni.
So now we know that there's much more going on with Giovanni. He's actually connected with them. What is going on? Am I dropping frames? Yes, I am dropping frames. Why? This was going so nicely. I wonder what's going on here. Why is it? Why is it? Not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming? I don't know why that is. Do I need to turn my PlayStation off? What's going on? No, it's got nothing to do with my PlayStation because I'm not even connected to a network. That is so weird. I'm trying to see what's happening here. Well, as long as you guys can hear me, I think that's pretty much all that matters. Yeah, as long as you guys can hear me, that's all that matters. But boy, is it ain't if it ain't annoying.
Vulcan's grandfather had 2 apprentices. One was Vulcan's father and the other was Dr. Giovanni. Soon after their unnatural deaths, Giovanni started working for Hajima. That was something his master had strictly forbidden. Forbidden? What's wrong with working for Hajima? Apparently, Vulcan's family has some kind of history with Hajima.
And then Lisa continues.
We can talk about it all we want, but Vulcan's the only one who knows the truth. I need to get to work on Volk's dinner soon.
And it shows Vulcan, well, we hear Vulcan just hammering away inside of his workshop.
So, sorry, but you might as well give up and go home.
I'm sorry I couldn't be more helpful, goes Yu towards Lisa.
Oh, don't say that.
Then Shinra feels this buzzing sensation. As we have Giovanni in another location going, the time is ripe. Kill Vulcan. And Shinra gets that buzzing in his legs again.
It's that same feeling again. Kill Vulcan? Is this an Adola link?
Hey, is something wrong? You've been really weird lately.
Last time Lieutenant Conroe was calling for help. This time Dr. Giovanni is out for blood.
I don't think he's going to join us. Maybe we should go back to Company 8 and...
No, we can't leave here now. Call it my hero's intuition.
As Shinra standing there staring at the workshop with his leg buzzing. And then we cut to someplace later in the junkyard as Arthur and everyone else is talking to him. Yo, Byron, what's going on? Apologies if my image looks a little bit jumpy. I'm suffering from a lot of dropped frames right now. And it's very annoying. It is incredibly annoying. And my image... Okay. Alright, is it back to normal now? Yay! Nice! My connection is good again. I don't know why that happens, though. It was buffering on my end. I couldn't tell if it was actually messed up or not, so I had to refresh my page. Oh, but we're good. We're good. We are good. Hallelujah. Alright, let's keep going. But Shinra's standing there and saying,
Call it my hero's intuition.
And then it cuts to Arthur and Iris talking to Shinra about what Shinra learned.
Dr. Giovanni wants to kill Vulcan?
I don't know why, but that's what I felt. But we can't call everybody out here on a hunch. We'll have to handle this ourselves.
But Company 3's captain was trying to scout Vulcan-san, wasn't he? Why would he try to kill him?
It might have something to do with his family's history with Hajima.
Do you really think Vulcan would believe you if you told him this? I don't even believe you.
This hunch you have, do you think it has anything to do with the Abdullah burst you were talking about?
Adola burst? Adola link? This happened in Asakusa too. I had a hunch, but it was so clear it was like he was talking right to me. And it turned out to be real, which means I can't ignore this one either. Sister Iris, Arthur, you go back to the workshop and tell Vulcan he's in danger. If he's willing to listen, you should take him somewhere to lay low.
All right.
What are you going to do?
We don't know if we're up against just Dr. Giovanni or all of Company 3, but he shouldn't know that we're here either. If I can find some high ground to scout out the enemy, then we can make the first move. You and I are the only ones here who can fight, Arthur. I'm counting on you.
Wait, explain it one more time. And you know Arthur's gonna have a hard time having this explained to him. Then we cut to Dr. Giovanni, who's speaking to some Fire Force members. Kill everyone in the workshop. These are the times we live in. Infernals, fire, anything can have caused their deaths. Yes, sir. Wait, cast off your false garments. As we get the same dude who was part of Company 3 way back when. The same dude from Company 3. The same dude from Company 3. And he wasn't the captain. He wasn't the captain back then. This was the same dude from Company 3 that caused Obi to want to join the Fire Force in order to change things. The one that said, like, my men need points in order to keep morale up, but it was really because his entire company loves killing Infernals. They just enjoy killing Infernals. This same dude is here with Dr. Giovanni. Wait, cast off your false garments. As you wish. As it shows that these dudes are actually part of the Evangelists. Allegiance to the Evangelists. They're all part of the Evangelists. They got moles in the Fire Force. Then we cut back to Vulcan. You're saying Dr. Giovanni is trying to kill me? I'm the one with the grudge. I want to kill him. Why should he have to come after me? He thinks he felt he heard it. That's why. And Lisa's looking kind of curiously at it. I thought you guys were different from the other fire soldiers, but you're just like the rest of them, making up ridiculous threats to scare me into joining you. Are you sure you don't know what this is about? You have some kind of history with Hajima. Don't you? I told you I'm the one who hates them.
Volk, tell us. What exactly happened between you and Hajima?
Not you two. Where's this coming from?
They might be willing to let you go.
You believe these guys?
I'm worried about you, Volk. We're family, aren't we? Is there any reason you can't tell me you're you?
And then Vulcan says, Hajima took everything from my ancestors. And then Yu looks outside.
Vulcan, you have to look outside!
Why? What's wrong? And then Vulcan looks outside, and the entire place is surrounded by the white hooded members of the Evangelists.
They have us surrounded out back, too.
All this just to get to me? That's insane. How could he let that whole army get past him? Shinra, what are you doing? And it shows Shinra in another part of the forest up in a tree going, it's awfully quiet. Because he's apparently flown off in a direction that's completely separate from the entire group of evangelists who's just flown up. Great. Dropping frames again. That's perfect. Right when I'm speaking. I know it's going to catch up soon. I just need to see where I was interrupted again and then figure it out. This is insanity. My connection is good. Why do I go through these things? Okay. Alright, I gotta go back.
They have us surrounded out back, too.
All this just to get to me? That's insane! How could he let that whole army get past him? Shinra, what are you doing? Because, like I said, it shows a whole army's worth of evangelists just surrounding Vulcan's workshop. And then we cut to Shinra, who's high up in a tree in a different location going, "It's awfully quiet." Because he has no idea that the evangelists have completely surrounded Vulcan and everybody else. But that's the end of chapter 55. Onwards to chapter 56, the Night King atop his steed. And we have all these members of the evangelists standing there outside, ominously, with hoods over their faces. What are the Whiteclads doing in this junk heap?
Do you think Company 3's captain is with the Evangelists?
It's true! Shinra-san was right! We're penned in. There's nowhere to run. We'll just have to get him with this.
Arthur-san, isn't there anything you can do?
I left Excalibur at home. You're fire soldiers, aren't you? Do something! I don't have the equipment I need to use my powers, and I'm not very knightly right now, so I can't get it up. Knightly? The point is, if I'm not knightly, I cannot use my powers. As Arthur just thinks of things that are considered knightly, like the family crest, a big old sword, knight armor, a shield, and a steed. What are you talking about? Goes Vulcan. There are tools right there. Wire cutters and a hammer? There are tools right there. Wire cutters and a hammer? If it's not very swordly, this is all the firepower I can get. I get my firepower up with more swordliness. I am the Night King Arthur Boyle. The better I embody my knightly image, the more powerful my powers. That is what makes me a knight. I don't really get it, but there's no time. Basically, you get stronger the more knightly you are, right? And I knew this when I first saw you, but you really are an idiot. I don't think Arthur fully realizes that someone calling you an idiot is not meant to be a good thing. He really is an idiot, isn't he? He's so stupid he can't even tell the difference between someone calling him stupid as an insult. Wow, okay. Stupid, okay. But we get Vulcan starting to make stuff. Think I can use this too. And he just puts pieces together. Knight. Now for a horse. And then we have the Whiteclads outside. Mirage, wait here. Don't lift the siege. Understood. I'll take care of the people inside. As the one dude with the big old mustache beard combo from Company 3, he makes his way towards the workshop, and then the door opens. And then it's Arthur who walks out, and he's got like a big cloak.
Vulcan, you just put a tarp over his shoulders. Is that really gonna help?
He was happy when he left. It's all based on how he feels. Who am I to judge? And then Arthur is standing there with a big old cloak over his shoulders, and he has like a big old... He has what looks like a sword, and I guess a donkey head on a belt? Onward, Silver! As Arthur's standing there with this weird amalgamation just attached to him everywhere.
And that's not a horse, it's a donkey. I think it's a stretch to call that a knight.
Who are you? You're not from this workshop. And then we have Arthur having a massive daydream right now. The mission my king has given me is to defend the princess and her important associates inside that watermill. I cannot let you pass. Excalibur! As Arthur draws his sword, and it's even more refined than normal because it's crackling with energy. Normally, his normal Excalibur doesn't do that, but this one does. I hope he keeps this handle so he can use his powers better.
The flame from Arthur's sword is stronger than ever.
What? You're kidding, right? And then it shows Arthur staring down the Whiteclads as he goes, "Hi-ho, Silver!" May the round table guide my steps! And then we see Arthur put the sword above his head, and Mirage of the Whiteclads goes, "No, Flail, don't let him hit you! Excalibur!" And Arthur swings in a wide arc so devastatingly large that it covers the entire area. And in the process, Flail goes, "What is he?" And it turns out that all these white-clad soldiers, yeah, they're not real. We now know why this other member is called Mirage. Because if there's enough heat, you can make images appear that aren't really there, like water on a surface, or even make a far-off building look like it's not even there because of the heat. But all these other soldiers get dissipated. All those soldiers, they disappeared? My illusions. That great army. My sword went through them like papier-mâché. No one told me that a fighter had joined the workshop. Who are you? I am Arthur, the Night King, Company 8 Fire Soldier, 2nd Class. I will eliminate all who stand in my way. As Flail takes out a flail, but it doesn't have like the weighty spiked end on the flail, and he ignites the end of it and causes a fiery flail to be at the end of it, like the fiery weight to be on a flail. He causes a fiery version to appear on it, a fiery, spiky version of it, and he's facing down Arthur. And as he tries to swing his flail at Arthur, Arthur blocks it, and then Mirage wavers in the background. As it shows more Mirage is launching towards Arthur, and Arthur just easily slices through them. And when it looks like they're all trying to surround him, Arthur just continues to slice through the Mirages. His quick reflexes are working against him. He's too preoccupied by the Mirages. With that unstable posture, he won't be able to parry the attack that will really hurt him. And as Flail tries to launch his fire flail at Arthur, Arthur spins around, along with the head of his steed, and he slices straight through the chain of flail. In one go. That idiot is actually a crazy good fighter. He countered from that stance. What incredible physical ability. When the Night King and his steed act as one, they have no weaknesses. And as this goes on, Shinra sees an explosion happen from the distance, and he notices,
That's over by the workshop. Did something happen? That's not good. I'm on my way.
Then we see a hand attached to a cord shoot up in the air and hit Shinra in the back of his neck, knocking him out, and it starts to wrap around his neck, and it's Dr. Giovanni. It's Dr. Giovanni who apparently has this prosthetic hand that is attached to a cord that's wrapped around Shinra, slowly hanging him. What is Shinra Kusakabe doing here? And that is the end of chapter 56, onwards to chapter 57, Dire Straits. And Shinra is slowly hanging, but then he uses his fire powers to go up in the air to untie himself. Then he drops back to the ground.
Darn it! Who's there?
And Giovanni is hiding behind the tree.
Where are you?
I thought things were going quite right at the workshop, so Company 8 is here. That was not in my calculations. Wait, this is the Company 8 rookie with the Adola burst. I'll capture him and take him to the Evangelist. As Dr. Giovanni's hand starts to crackle with electricity. Then it starts to shoot towards Shinra again, but he dodges it this time because he notices.
What the?
And then the hand has its own little boosters. Like, it has like a little small mechanism connected to the wrist that allows it to shoot out smaller flames to adjust its flight pattern and, velocity and trajectory. Not unlike that of Hinawa's trajectory control, but it's really just little mini boosters that allows the hand to change direction so it can fly to different directions. And Shinra manages to dodge away from it this time. A second time.
He's steering it by controlling the boost from the jet on its wrist. So I'm up against a second gen? If I follow the wire, I'll find the enemy.
As the hand launches towards Shinra once again.
Piece of cake!
As Shinra flips over a branch to try and get it lodged there.
You be a good little hand and stay there!
But apparently, the wire produces so much friction that it actually slices straight through the tree limb. And it continues to chase after Shinra.
The wire heated? It's stopping over there.
And as Shinra goes over to where the cord ends at the tree that Giovanni's supposed to be at.
Stop hiding and come out where I can see you!
He spins around towards the tree to see that there's actually the arm is attached to a hook towards the tree, so it was like a red herring. It was a wild goose chase.
There's no one here.
And it shows Dr. Giovanni launching two tasers from his arm stump into Shinra's back, and he definitely tries to knock him unconscious.
That hurts!
What is he, a monster? That was 2 million volts. In that case, he literally just tried to hit Shinra with 2 million volts of electricity, and all Shinra said was, that hurts. But then, he apparently ups the voltage and knocks Shinra to the ground. Is the enemy behind the tree? What if he's not there? Am I up against one or several? Should I create a diversion and see what he does? If you considered every possibility, you wouldn't make these mistakes. You were up against the wrong opponent. The right answer here was to run away. Sometimes you must knock on the stone bridge and make the decision not to cross it. This is Dr. Giovanni. I've made a serendipitous catch, requesting backup. Yes, that's right. The man with the Adola burst. Then we cut back to Flail versus Arthur. I don't care how many of you there are. None of you will pass. How can someone in such a ridiculous getup have so much firepower? So my getup is ridiculous in the eyes of evil. And then it cuts to more mirages of Mirage surrounding Arthur, and he immediately slices through them. Vile deceptions! I told you your efforts are futile. As Arthur is standing in a mirage of himself. Who is this man in the laughable costume? It's you. Me? You say? As Arthur looks down at his own self, because he was originally thinking that he looked like a knight earlier on, but now he truly sees reality. He's done daydreaming. He now sees reality and what he has attached to him. It's just a donkey head attached to like a belt he has in front of him. This is not knightly. Which allows Flail to get a hit in on Arthur and knock him to the side. Now that I look at you, Silver, you're not a horse. You're a donkey! And then Flail's flail flies and hits Arthur and knocks him into the air, destroying the donkey head that Vulcan made for him. And Arthur then hits the ground along with the donkey head. And then we have you. Vulcan! The spell's been broken! Silver? What is wrong with you? Is this some kind of a joke? You think I can joke when my faithful steed has been slain? His firepower has dropped significantly, goes Mirage. You'll pay, as Arthur takes off his cloak, but he still has his sword. Then we cut to Shinra, who's laying there unconscious in front of Giovanni. What luck. The Adolaverse has fallen into my hands. We are one step closer to the world the evangelist envisions. Now I only need to get that key from Vulcan. What key? Then we cut back to Vulcan. The guys out back have disappeared too. Guess they were all made by those guys' power. Lisa, you, now's your chance. Escape out the back. Company 8, girl. Take care of them. Get them somewhere safe.
What about you, Vulcan-san?
The guys in white are after me, right? There's no reason for you to stick around.
No, you know we can't just leave you here. Escape with us, Vulcan! We're family, aren't we?
I can't abandon a guy who's out there fighting for me even if he is an idiot.
But why are they after you, Volk? You'll never convince me to go without a reason.
I don't know. All I know is that Hajima took everything from us. Our family, our tech.
Your tech?
Yeah, that's right. My ancestors put a lot of time and pride into bringing all of their tech together to make one great masterpiece. My ancestors built a Materasu. Oh, interesting. And that's the end of chapter 47. 57. Onwards to chapter 58. And we're getting like a flashback. I need to stretch my arms because I'm leaning on them. Ugh. But I am like putting pressure on my muscles a little bit, so I guess you would call this like a little bit of a workout to a certain degree. Is it still dropping frames again? This thing's really got to stop doing that. Okay. All right. The sooner I get done with this, the better, so that way the quality is as best as I can get it with this whole connection issue. But we have Vulcan putting some soda and some drink in front of the little gravestone that he's made. Here you go. Grandpa, Dad, I brought your favorite sodas. Yeah, they're sodas. I already opened them, so you don't have to worry about them spraying you. Now that you're both gone, I have to work 3 times as hard. But you didn't raise me to slack off. I'm making it work. It's surprising what you can do when you put your mind to it. And I have help. What is that sound? Ah, perfect. Perfect. Yes! Yes! Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I'll be right back. Okay. I'm slightly winded. Let me explain why. So, we've been waiting on leaf pickup from our front yard, and they swung by, but the pile wasn't as close for them to get all of it, so I immediately ran downstairs to pull all the leaves that they couldn't reach into the little suction hose that they have for the big truck. And that's what I was doing, because we had like a ton of leaves for our yard, so I had to rake them quickly, get that taken care of. All our lawn looks great without that big pile of leaves anymore. And I'm a little bit out of breath because I ran downstairs very quickly. And there was a lot of dust getting kicked up as well, but it's all good. We can continue where I left off. My apologies, everybody. I had to go down there and take care of it. Otherwise, we would have had to wait till next week. So that took priority. Let me read this chapter again, because we're about to go to chapter 58. But let me go from the top. Still slightly out of breath, but I can weather through it. Here you go, Grandpa, Dad. I brought your favorite sodas. I already opened them, so you don't have to worry about them spraying you. Now that you're both gone, I have to work 3 times as hard. But you didn't raise me to slack off. I'm making it work. It's surprising what you can do when you put your mind to it. And I have help. My new family, as it shows Lisa and you. Chapter 58, We're Family. And then it shows, and this is, mind you, this is a flashback. Once again, we're getting a lot of flashbacks in this one particular volume. It shows Vulcan, drumming away and building a whole bunch of stuff. Whew. I know how you feel, Vulcan. Whew. I'm gonna get me some water after this. Vulcan, will you check my prototype? Wow, you did a pretty good job here. Thank you very much. Now you just needed to... I need to... Yeah! And he immediately throws the structure, the little device that you has made.
Just a... What?
You still got a long way to go.
Well, if you fling it like that, of course it's gonna break.
Don't be stupid. It's no big deal if some things break. Like clocks and vacuum cleaners. You just have to fix them. But there are things in this world that should never, ever break.
Like what?
Like boats and cars. If they break down, people can get hurt, And like a Matarasu, the perpetual thermal energy plant that will never stop and never break. How cool is that? If it does break, the whole empire is in trouble. And then we have Lisa.
Volk, food's ready. Come and get it when you get to a stopping point.
And then, we have them cooking a whole bunch of food, which tends to be shaped in the manner of, like, animals. This one particularly is like what is this? It's like some sort of rice with, I can't tell if that's meat on top or something else. But it looks delicious. I'm hungry. Speaking of making things that you shouldn't break, Lisa.
Thank you for the meal. It's food, don't worry about its feelings, just eat. You know what they say, nothing is permanent. Everything that takes a shape will eventually break.
Everything with a shape, huh? Does that include feelings and the bonds people share? Do families all eventually break down too? And Vulcan is just thinking of his family. My dad and grandpa died and my family was broken. But the 3 of us will still be family even after we die. Our bond will never break. I want to make things and bonds that never break. The 3 of us are an unbreakable family. As you and Lisa smile at him. And then it shows the outside of the building, and then we're back to the present. I made some things out back in case something like this happened. Use it to escape. Even if we're apart, we're still an unbreakable family. Vulcan! I'm going outside to help the knight. Sister, I know it's not your responsibility, but take care of them.
I may not be much, but I'm still a fire soldier. I'll do my best.
And then Lisa proceeds to tase Vulcan. Just instantly.
What was that for?
Lisa-san, what are you doing?
And then Lisa blasts back you with her firepower, because she's apparently a pyrokinetic.
Stay out of this, you.
As fire crackles around Lisa.
What? Lisa-san, what's going on?
Freeze. One wrong move and I'll kill him. It was no coincidence that you found me that day.
What?
It was all an undercover act so I could search your workshop. Give me the key to Amaterasu.
Key to Amaterasu? Lisa, what are you talking about?
And then she raises her hand and says,
I serve the evangelists. You wanted to make something unbreakable? It was broken from the start, this make-believe family.
No!
You're lying.
and then Lisa gets up and kicks him in the side.
Lisa-san, there's no need for violence!
Giovanni is on his way. If you don't cough up the keep now, you're a dead man.
What's this, Lisa? You worried about me?
How trusting can you be?
As we cut to Arthur outside, who's, fending off more mirages. And he slashes through one, but then the real mirage comes up and goes, wrong again, and hits him in the back of the head.
Curses!
And then we have Giovanni. I see the Company 8 soldiers are here. Clean this up quickly.
I will.
You shall not pass! And before Arthur can rush Giovanni, Mirage gets in front of him. And it turns out that it's an actual Mirage, and the real Mirage knees him in the side. I'm over here. Don't let my mirages spook you. Flail! And then Flail appears right next to Giovanni. It seems the tables have turned. Now you are the one who won't get near the workshop. Let no one inside, as Giovanni goes in. And then we cut to the forest, where Shinra has been completely bound out, as we have some other evangelists here.
All right, pick him up.
This is the guy with the Adola burst.
I understand Commander Sho is on his way.
Oh no! Oh no! Show's coming! And we're back inside the workshop. Stand down, Lisa. I will take it from here. You can die this instant, or you can tell me where the key is first. The choice is yours.
Giovanni!
And that's the end of chapter 58. Onwards to chapter 59. Arrival! Arrival. Not a rival, like rivalry, but arrival, as in you've arrived. I wanted to make sure I made that clear, because you can say both of those relatively fast and the same speed, and they can mean either thing.
Where am I? I have to get to the workshop. Who's that? What's going on? I can't move.
As it shows, Shinra is not only completely bound up in like a straitjacket, but he's also fastly secured to a gurney that's being carried away by these evangelists.
Huh?
And Shinra also has a piece of tape over his mouth, so you know. Stop struggling, it won't do you any good. You're wrapped up in a flame-retardant fabric, you can't escape. But then we see some petals fall through the air, around. Some petals fall through the air around these evangelists, and then one of them starts to feel woozy and falls over. Hey, what's wrong?
I feel woozy.
As they both fall over, and it turns out that Captain Hibana is right there.
Be good little pieces of gravel and pave the road before me. I heard the commotion over the wire I planted on Iris, so I came, but...
Captain Ibana!
Stop struggling, I'm about to untie you. Or maybe I'll just take you home like this.
What? Please hurry! The workshop is in danger!
I know.
Then we cut back to the workshop. And Giovanni. Lisa was planted here to find the key to Amaterasu. You bleeding hearts are too trusting. That's why you're deceived. You should learn to knock on the stone bridge again after you've knocked on it. Did you enjoy playing family with Lisa?
Is that why you came to work? Is that why you came to work here too?
Generation after generation of fools. Your entire heritage is full of pitiful bleeding hearts. Appeal to their emotions and they're already duped. Your father was the same way. Your whole pedigree is made up of gullible fools, tricked for generations. But Amaterasu was the only one thing they were careful about. They knocked on the stone bridge when they hid that key.
I'm not hiding anything. I don't have any key.
And then Iris is looking on while Yu manages to get back up again.
Ow! Lisa-san, what's gotten into you?
Is this child a part of your make-believe family too? As he launches out his arm and starts to strangle Yu.
Stop it! Can't breathe!
Where is the key to Amaterasu?
I'll kill you!
And then a shot fires straight through Yu's chest. And it comes from Giovanni's cane. I don't remember this. Well, do you remember now? The wound is fatal, but if you act now, you might still save him.
You! Please stop. You have to save you.
You did this to him by not giving me what I asked for.
How should I know?
Where is the key?
How should I know? I don't know about any key. Please stop taking from us.
I've made meticulous preparations, cut off your material supply, gone out of my way to recruit you peacefully, sent Lisa to infiltrate your home. I knocked and 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 knocked on the stone bridge, and you really know nothing. Darn you, Vulcan! Wow, this dude is very angry. This wouldn't have happened if you had realized you were all too foolish to hide a key. Your family tree is full of rotten apples, with nothing going for you but your tech, your talents, and your bleeding hearts.
Darn it, Giovanni, I'm gonna kill you!
But before Vulcan could get any angrier, Giovanni just takes his cane and just starts hitting him over and over, like in a windmill-like motion. He just spins his arm and just continuously hits Vulcan over and over again. I knocked and 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 knocked on the stone bridge, searching for that key. I should have knocked and 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 knocked on Vulcan to make him cough it up. He really wants this key, doesn't he? And Vulcan is not moving. Does he really know nothing? And then that same little sphere that Vulcan took away from Iris rolls out right next to Giovanni. He's so protective of this worthless piece of trash. And then he smashes it. Giovanni starts to smash it. And then Vulcan goes, "No, don't!" And Giovanni continues to smash this little structure here. But he continues to smash it. Sorry, family was asking me about food. They're gonna get food for me, and I'll be done with this with enough time. So he smashes the little device that Vulcan treasures, and Yu is being tended to by Iris as he's coughing, because apparently it's a fatal wound.
Yu-san, hang in there.
And then Iris looks over at Giovanni.
Please stop this. That represents a precious memory Vulcan-san shares with his father. Please stop breaking it.
It's breaking. It's all broken. And then we have Shinra, who's running full tilt through the forest, screaming, "Nyah!" And then as he lands on the ground, he lands on his feet and then starts flying through the air. Halster, good to see you. We are on chapter 59. And Shinra goes through the trees at such a speed that he flies through the top of the trees, and then he immediately jets towards the workshop.
Such incredible speed,
goes Captain Ibana. Come on! Come on! And then it cuts to Arthur, who's still fighting Mirage. And then Mirage notices something. I'm detecting a heat source from behind. Another soldier?
Arthur, how's it going?
Shinra, hurry to the workshop! Don't let him near the workshop, Flail. I won't. And then more mirages fly towards Shinra, and Shinra dodges past all the mirages.
All that dodging threw me off balance.
As it looks like Shinra was about to hit the ground face first. When he lands, I'll pounce, goes Mirage. But Shinra, being the speedy individual that he is, he lands with a handstand, flips backwards, and backflips towards Mirage, grabs him by the shoulders, and rearing up, he kicks Mirage straight in his back with both his feet. He hits the ground, but he manages to slide straight under Flail. And then we cut back to Giovanni. What's that part there? Was it inside? It's quite an old model. A flash drive? And it has more memory than it would need for this piece of junk. Can it be? I found it! So this is where you've been hiding it. Now, once I've disposed of you, I'll... And before Giovanni can say anything else, Shinra comes bursting into the scene, blasting down the door, and he's right next to Giovanni, and proceeds to knee Giovanni directly in the face in quite a beautiful double spread panel.
Knock the masked turd's nose back into his own businessman is here!
As he knocks back Giovanni.
What the heck are you doing to my company's engineer?
And that's the end of chapter 59. Onwards to chapter 60, Black and White and Gray. And it shows Giovanni's face mask just completely dented all the way in. And he gets knocked into a wall behind, and so a whole bunch of machinery just falls onto him.
Shinra-san!
And then not Ivy. Why did I say Ivy? Am I thinking of Poison Ivy because I saw Harley Quinn on the Suicide Squad trailer last night? I gotta be. Why did I say Ivy? I must have been thinking Iris. And then that led into Ivy. I don't know. Don't worry about it. But Lisa starts using her flame powers, and it looks like a flaming tentacle.
Lisa-san, why?
And then that same mechanical hand that Giovanni loves to use shoots up and latches onto something behind Shinra. Then it goes taut as it makes him raise himself back to his feet again. This man can't even be bothered to just use his own legs to lift himself up. He attaches his hand to the ceiling just so the hand can do all the work and just pulls him up all creepy-like.
You okay? Can you move?
They've got me with a stun gun. I'm still kinda numb. Shinra Kusakabe, how did you escape? No matter. I'll just have to capture you again once the distractions have been disposed of. And Giovanni's mask just reshapes itself and, boings right back into place again. Then we have Arthur, who's outside, going, you let someone near the workshop. And then a mirage of Mirage appears behind Arthur, and he easily slices through it. But then the real Mirage hits him because, Arthur just keeps getting distracted by this. You're annoying. Yes, I imagine my Mirages would be quite the nuisance to one who, unlike your friend, insists on parrying every single attack. Continue to flounder in a sea of illusion. And then all of a sudden, all of the Mirages of Mirage dissipate because a massive wind just dissipates all of them. What? What the? My Mirages!
Warm air rises, cool air sinks. A mirage is a virtual image created by differences in air density. If you supply enough heat to erase those differences, naturally the images will be erased with them.
As it shows Captain Hibana!
Illusions scatter fruitlessly before my flowers.
As she douses the entire area in just straight up heat. Can't breathe! I'm on your side!
All gravel is the same, except for Shinra.
Then we cut back to Lisa.
Rising fishing fire.
As she puts this flaming tentacle on the floor.
Tie him up!
As this tentacle goes and tries to grab Shinra, and Shinra dodges, but it wraps around his arm.
This fire! Gah!
My flames are magnetic. They follow the faint magnetic fields generated by living things and latch onto them.
Can I say this about the powers of the different types of fire powers of everyone in Fire Force that I've witnessed so far? I love how their powers are grounded in reality to a degree. They have a grounded explanation, such as my flames are attracted to your magnetic field, or if I cool the air this way and then drop it down, if I heat the air this way and then immediately use some sort of apparatus to cool it, then I can freeze literal flames. But they have like a more grounded approach to their explanations. I love that. Can I say that? I love that. I love that about it. It's not like, oh, I can just use fire and I can just conjure up this, I can just conjure up that, like you would see from Marvel. It's just like simple explanations. No, I like these sort of scientific explanations for them that you would think is real. I like that. I like that.
My flames are magnetic. They follow the faint magnetic fields generated by living things and latch onto them.
And then Giovanni uses his rocket hand, his grapple arm, to hit Shinra in the face.
Why you?
And then Lisa causes more rising fishing fires to pop up out of the ground. It's literally a Kraken moment right now. And they all go through the entire area to try and get to Shinra. Shinra then tries to use his powers in order to get up to the roof, but he hits himself on the roof because, very little room. And they start to wrap around Shinra.
Whoa!
And then Giovanni's fist just launches into the air and punches Shinra directly in the face.
Shinra-san!
And then Iris starts looking around and she goes,
Great sun god, please! Latom!
And she starts hitting a button. And then all these different
Latom!
and all these animal heads, they start flying around the room, bouncing everywhere. Like we see this head of a panda and a koala. All these different animals start bouncing around the room, and one of them manages to knock Giovanni's hand out of the way. Good idea, sister. Push all the buttons you can find.
Latom! Latom! Latom!
And she keeps saying this while she keeps pressing buttons, causing the different animal heads to launch all over. You had to make all these wastes of space. And then Lisa's looking as Iris is constantly touching buttons.
Latom! Latom!
And then it cuts to the outside. It cuts to the outside as everyone is down on the ground because of Hibana's heat. It's so hot. I feel faint. And then even Flail struggles to stand up.
Grovel at my feet, Gravel.
Oh!
And as she's saying this and smiling, she goes,
Uh-huh.
as a big old bear head hits her in the head and knocks her out. Yeah, those are... Is Sister Iris at it again? And then the arms that were wrapped around Shinra suddenly get unwrapped. As they start to, detach from him. And this surprises Lisa. I flipped the magnet switch on my forest creatures. Those will overpower any human's puny magnetic field. And they all start to writhe around Lisa, and Shinra rushes right past Lisa and proceeds to aim straight for Giovanni and kicks him right in the chest. And as Giovanni is, flailing from this attack, he spins around and kicks Giovanni with such force that he just straight up folds Giovanni. He's too fast for me with my current equipment. And then Shinra manages to kick Giovanni once more, but this time with enough force to launch him straight through the building outside. And we see this view from a distance away, but we also see somebody standing on the hill. The report led me to believe things had been cleaned up here, as Sho has arrived. Sho has arrived. And he's flipping through this book as he goes, it's quite a unique text. You should read it. As he passes it to Archer, who's right there with him. Archer's the same chick that we saw at Asakusa and was also there to, pretty much kill Rekka Hoshimiya. And Shinra gets outside and his leg starts buzzing again because of the Adola link.
There.
There it is again!
And he looks up, and he sees his brother, Sho.
Are you the one who linked with me, knave?
To be continued in Volume 8, ladies and gentlemen. We got some translation notes, and it's only like 2 pages, so this shouldn't take long. Whoo, boy. Translation notes. I follow ya, big cheese, page 19. As Shinra tells Iris, this is how the proto-nationalists of Company 7 talk, or at least the Japanese text represents how they talk, The Japanese phrase, gaten shochi, is an old Edo style of hearing and accepting an order, something like the Roger Wilco you might hear in a Hollywood film. Because old Edo puts people in the mind of samurai, one way to deal with this style of speaking would be to make it sound like an old warrior. But surely the reader remembers that the fire brigade in Asakusa do not fit that formal samurai lineage image, and their language is certainly nowhere near that polite. The translators have therefore chosen to attempt to recreate the attitude of this language by representing it through Prohibition-era slang. Junk off! Page 34. There is a famous chain of secondhand retailers in Japan where you can sell your items or pick up used items at a bargain, which are all appended off. Book off, books, mod off, clothes, hard off, electronics, and others. Apparently, the Fire Force universe adds another store to the chain specifically for, well, junk. Big S, page 54. Another habit Shinra and Arthur picked up in Asakusa is to call each other Shinoji and Arnoji, meaning roughly letter Shin and letter R. It makes more sense in Japanese because for example, there's only one written character for Shin in Shinra. This form of nickname is used among Yakuza, gangsters, and other less than upstanding citizens, and genuinely is not used with any amount of respect. Because it takes the first letter character of a person's name, the translators have opted to use the initials, which, being capitalized, are big versions of those letters. Knock on the stone bridge, page 124. There is a saying in Japanese, to knock on a stone bridge before crossing. The idea is that because stone bridges are generally very sturdy, only a very cautious person would knock on it to test that sturdiness. Dr. Giovanni is suggesting that sometimes even the stone bridge isn't as sturdy as it looks. So one must make the judgment skills to refuse to cross if the bridge doesn't seem sound. Knock the masked turd's nose back into his own business, man. Page 176. Another saying is hanapashira o heshiru, literally meaning to break someone's nose. In a figurative sense, it is used in reference to taking someone down a peg, cutting them down to size, or putting them back in their place. Unfortunately, none of the English idioms involve literally breaking noses, which is what Shinra does to Dr. Giovanni's mask. The translators opted to attempt to maintain the pun. Fishing fire, page 184. As the reader might expect, a fishing fire, or isaribi, is a fire used for fishing in an old practice that has been used for centuries. In this case, the fire is also part fish. The word isaribi may also be related to Lisa's name. The L and R are pronounced the same in Japanese, so switching the sa and ri would form the name Lisa or Risa. Tamaki's birthday and nickname, page 200. In Japan, February, page 200. Oh, information about Tamaki at the back. In Japan, February 22nd or 222 is Cat Day because the word for two, ni, is also a sound cats make. You know, like nyan or such. Her nickname, Tama-chan, is not only short for Tamaki, it also happens to be the stereotypical cat name in Japan, something like Fluffy. Tama means ball and is most likely a reference to the feline habit of curling up into very round shapes. And that is the last of the translation notes. We get a little bit of information about Tamaki Kotatsu at the back, but yeah, I'll just leave it at reading the translator's notes. This has been my live reading of Volume 7, everybody. Sorry for the dropped frame situation and me having to run away in order to get those leaves picked up from our front yard. That just had to be done, and I didn't want to have to deal with like the leaves still being there and potentially killing our grass. So I'm glad they came by and I had to do that. But I thank you for your patience. I will see you guys tomorrow for yet another reading of Fire Force. It may be a little bit later in the day when I schedule it. It'll probably be after I get back home because I got to get my hair cut. I always get like a haircut every month. I want to say every 2 weeks, if not every month. And I want to get that knocked out. I want to take care of that first before I do Fire Force, so that way I don't feel like I have to rush in order to get out and get my hair taken care of. So I won't schedule it yet until I get home and I'm here at a decent time. But yeah, that we'll still do Fire Force tomorrow. Today, I'm probably going to eat some food, and then we're going to test out this new DLC that came out for Final Fantasy XVI, Echoes of the Fallen. So that should be interesting. But I'm done for the day, ladies and gentlemen. I had a fantastic time reading Fire Force to all of you. We are getting ever closer to the halfway point. The halfway point of this entire series will be Volume 17, because 17 plus 17 is 34, and that's how many volumes there are of Fire Force. So once we reach volume 17, we will be halfway through the series. But thank you for your patience, thank you for your kindness, thank you for your support. Hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, subscribe, and even become a member, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!